club is all about journalism and writing skills. Our budding journalists have participated with a great zeal. The theme of Inkit Club is the Jewels of India.
Greetings everyone. Myself Vidash Bharadas. Currently I am studying in grade 11 Humanities. I am part of Inkit group. So this group is led by Guru Renuka ma'am. So I am going to recite a poem. The first poem was a wonder. The second one was a surprise. The third poem made me a poet. The fourth gave me a name and fame. The fifth poem fetched me a fabulous fantasy. The sixth one was a striving struggle for perfect beauty. The seventh poem convinced the heavens serenity. The eighth poem gave me a fly. And the ninth one lifted me in the sky. This poem was written by Abdul Wahab, and I am going to ask you a question. How many of you know about Indian literature and journalism? The answer is not everybody know about it. So we are here in Inkit group to tell you about journalism and Indian literature's history.
My name is Shresh Jindal of class 11 Humanities. A body of clay, a mind full of play, a moment's life, that is me. That is how one of the greatest doyens of Hindi literature, Harivansh Rai Bachchan, described himself. Harivansh Rai Bachchan was born in the year 1907 in the village Babupatti near Allahabad, in a Kayast family to Pratap Narayan Srivastav and Saraswati Devi. Harivansh Rai Bachchan is remembered for his 142-verse lyrical poem Madhushala, The House of Wine, which was published in 1935. This work catapulted him as the foremost Hindi poet and was subsequently translated into English and a number of Indian languages. The poem became a craze and was even performed on stage. Now I am going to recite one of the poems of Harivansh Rai Bachchan. हो जाए न पथ में रात कहीं, मंजिल भी तो है दूर नहीं, ये सोच थका दिल का पंछी भी जल्दी जल्दी चलता है, दिन जल्दी जल्दी ढलता है, दिन जल्दी जल्दी ढलता है. बच्चे प्रत्याशा में होंगे, नीड़ों से झांक रहे होंगे, यह ध्यान परों में चिड़ियों के बढ़ता कितनी चंचलता है, दिन जल्दी जल्दी ढलता है, दिन जल्दी जल्दी ढलता है. थैंक यू.
Hello everyone, my name is Chandra Sharma. I am from class 11th Humanities and disguised as Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu was born on 13 February 1879 and was died on 2nd March 1949. She was an Indian political activist and poet, a proponent of civil rights, women's emancipation and imperialistic ideas. She was an important figure in India's struggle from independence from colonial rule. Naidu's work as a poet earned her the sobriquet of the Nightingale of India and or Bharat Kokila from Mahatma Gandhi because of color, imagery and lyrical quality of her poetry. Her great work includes The Golden Threshold, The Bird of Time, The Broken Wing, etc. One of the famous quotes written by her is, "We want deeper sincerity of motive, a greater courage in speech."
We are the members of Inkit Club, and today we have got the privilege to interview our respected chairman, Mr. Ravi Shankar Sharma, retired IFS, who has studied extensively. For instance, he has done MBA FPR from Oxford, UK, and APF from Georgia, US. We are lucky that he is among us to share his vision with us. My first question to Chairman Sir is, Sir, what was your objective behind establishing SRN?
So first of all, good afternoon, you all viewers. So SRN aims at providing very high quality education and empowers the youth with the knowledge, skill and talent, and inculcate in them values and sanskars to make them very productive and worthwhile citizens of this country. Without values and sanskars, a person cannot contribute to the nation building. Rather, such persons are threat and risk to the society. Such persons are more prone to committing offense and crime. In my opinion, having reading, writing, and computing skills is very important. But without having life skills, knowledge and talent, sanskar and values, it is not possible for any person to contribute for the nation building and for the betterment of the society. So at SRN, we focus on holistic development, providing quality education, along with the values and sanskars. So all the students of SRN contribute in the nation building. They are loving, caring, and patriotic citizens of this country.
Our director, ma'am, Miss Ravisha Agarwal, ma'am, is a versatile personality who has acquired her degree of BA with English honors, B.Ed, and MBA in Marketing and International Business. So my first question to our respected director, ma'am, is how does SRN infuse journalism and orientation skills among the students?
So when we talk about journalism, right, you yourself are a member of an Inkit club, right? When we talk about journalism, it comes from the old word journal. Means ages back, people used to write what they saw. They would put it in a paper and pen, pass it down generations ahead. It was written either as books. But basically, from what I understand is if you experience an event, you tell it further. Correct? So we do a lot of things in SRN, like we do an annual magazine, we do a graphic novel, there's a small newsletter for the cutie pies. But I think any time that you sit in a class, precisely in English class, and you've written on a piece of paper, now well you've written it, and how well you've explained anything is where your journey for journalism begins if you have a passion for it. Journalism is absolute passion.
My next question to Chairman Sir is, what all journals, magazines, and newsletters are published in SRN International?
Creativity and communication is very important part of a student's life. At SRN, we encourage creativity and communication. If you are creative and your communication skill is excellent, you are very much assured of your success in the life, whatever field you have. Because it has been observed and established that 60 to 70% people are not able to communicate what is there in mind. And therefore, in order to inculcate the skill of very effective communication and creativity, at SRN, we provide ample opportunities to the students through magazines and newsletters. We have the monthly newsletter, the SRN Times. It provides opportunity to all the students, alumni and the faculty members to express their views, their thoughts, their creativity of anything which they like, be it a hobby, be it a cartoon, be it any write-up. And this is an excellent opportunity. And with this, the students really improve their written communication. They hone their creativity. Other is that we have the annual magazine Wingspan. This magazine is another platform. It provides an opportunity to the students, faculty members, and the alumni to contribute their articles, their writers, the reports, and excellent opportunity. Beside this, for the cutie pies, for our young toddlers, we have the Bumblebee. So this is again almost a newsletter, monthly newsletter, covering the activities of the tiny tots. And of course, they feel encouraged to do more and more by watching it. Besides this, we encourage our students to visit various media houses, newspapers, G News, and other areas where they are encouraged for creativity and effective communication. So all in all, we make all best possible efforts to inculcate creativity and a communication skill among the students.
And what is your opinion on Indian journalism and news channel?
We were in school, and I'm sure everybody else remembers, there was a prime time of news that used to come every day from 8 to 9 or 8:30 to 9:30, and there was a Hindi or an English prime news. That time was not enough because we're a very big country with a lot of discrepancies, so you cannot report everything in 1 hour. But when you get the freedom of 24 hours, it becomes less of a freedom and more of the misuse of that freedom. This country is a big democracy, the world's largest democracy, right? And comes with a set of free, rights and duties. But somehow, unfortunately, in these times, the rights part is used very well, but the duties part is pretty much neglected. The freedom of speech is exploited beyond imagination. I will tell you the pros and cons both. The pros being, yes, there are things that are not right with the country, and they need to be highlighted. But there's a difference in mistake and blunder. But when it comes to putting a thing on television, it becomes less about what is the intensity of the incident you're reporting and becomes more about how to blast it off to keep people attended. Imagine you sleeping before bed, you're watching a news which says, "Aaj ki sansani khez khabar." Everything in this line is negative. Sansani khez khabar. What is news? News is you put facts to people, and the facts let them decide, lets them make an opinion. It is not supposed to be instigating. But as per the Indian journalism and media, either the country is going down the drains or it is rising up the hill. A normal human life is also not like that. Have you ever said, "My day was absolutely brilliant, I won the Nobel Prize today," and the next day you say, "My house is simply crumbled down in hurricane"? Doesn't work like that, right? There's a middle ground. That's what journalism is supposed to be. We are not communists like China, but when we live in a country like ours, which is a house to multiple religions, why is it not the responsibility of an Indian journalism media, may it be written, may it be visual, that you take care what you say? Because what you say, this 140 billion population reacts to it, especially if you're not telling them about the facts, but you're making sure you're giving them information which will either make them feel uneasy or unhappy or extremely happy. So you overlook the facts. So the problem that I find with the Indian journalism or the media is it is not precisely based on facts. Everything will either have a background music which will show you how distressed the country is, or it will have one side of the story where you do not know what is happening on the other side, or it is totally based on who has spent the money to run that channel or who will be benefited monetarily. It has become less about what this country needs, what this country has fought for to be where it is today. From the country where people said, this is a country where only cows and cow dungs are found, to the country where people are speaking multiple languages and representing us on international levels and having the brains to send something like Mangalyaan in a limited amount of budget. They will not highlight that. They will highlight how the budget was not given and why the country was so corrupt. Agreed, there is corruption, but it is not all that bad as you're showing. There must be something good. So please, a coin will always have two sides, and that is what is conscious reporting, is the right way of reporting that should be done. So as for me, Indian journalism has still a lot of hard work to do, and there should be a study. Not just somebody should be handed over the mic and say, "Can you report what is happening?" Because they will use their words as weapons, or they will use their words as if it's somebody's happy birthday and make it very flowery. They will not tell you the facts. And if you don't know the facts, how can you work for the betterment of the country? How can the younger citizen know? Because I cannot travel to Thiruvananthapuram, or I cannot travel to Tiruchirappalli or Andaman Nicobar. I will only know what they're saying. And if you do not tell me the truth, how do I know that the tax that I'm paying for is going in the right direction? A very small example. So that is what I believe. It's good and bad. Good because yes, we have the opportunities, we have the people. Bad, there's nobody monitoring it. And by monitoring, I do not mean the government. I mean a common place, even in a single organization. Like when you make a newsletter or a magazine, your teachers monitor it. So there has to be a conscious social responsible, like you have CSR in corporates. Why doesn't media have a CSR? The GDP of media is higher than the GDP of the country, the rate at which it is growing. That is because it has become a business rather than an honorable thing where you tell people what is happening in their country. And I think it is a very sad state of affairs. And I think this club that we have, I really wish that these children realize what conscious reporting is.
My last question to Chairman Sir is, sir, what is your vision regarding the future of SRNians?
Well, the future of SRNians is very, very bright. At SRN, we empower the students beyond curriculum-based knowledge. We impart them life skills, talents, knowledge, values and sanskars. We make them confident. We encourage them to achieve something in their life. And as we all know, that life skills, values and sanskar are very important to be successful in the life. So SRNians have established and proved their mettle in all walks of life. They have been doctors, engineers, chartered accountants, lawyers, bank officers, army officers, IAS, etc. And I am very sure that faculty members of SRNians are providing holistic education, encompassing almost everything possible to make bright career of the students. And I'm very confident and sure that SRNians will prove their worth and mettle in all walks of life in India and abroad. Thank you.
Question to Director Ma'am is, how do you see Indian journalism on world stage?
This answer is pretty much, not pretty much, but kind of in link with the previous question that you asked me, right, Daksh? So the credibility of Indian journalism on the global map is pretty questionable. Questionable because if you actually go and watch any channel or read any newspaper, you will never find an Indian media house represented or their clips being used for any international media channels. If you go and check international CNBC or Al Jazeera or BBC, you will never find them. Because for a very simple reason and a sad fact that the Indian media or journalism have not even invested the kind of money to have their full-time representatives in all parts of the world. In fact, a very shocking thing is that Hindu is the only newspaper in the country to have its full-time media representatives available in cities like Washington, London, Paris. No other media house, no other. In spite of Dainik Jagran and Dainik Bhaskar being the topmost selling newspapers, they don't even have one full-time representative who can report an actual hand on what they saw news. So when you lack to even witness a thing when it's present, everybody flies in their journalists when something is happening. But what happens then and there is something you need to notice. And that's what reporting and journalism is. What you see is what you write, and it's further given as the precise information. But we, being a country of such a big democratic country, we do not have representative in the major superpowers of the world, not in Seoul, not in Japan. Why is that? Is it because we do not give importance to any other country but ours? Because we probably would not be able to bank that much of TRP? Because if you make people sit and watch what's happening in your own country, who got lashed out, who got leashed out, whose house was broken, who got corrupted. This would probably pull you more TRP rather than showing people that there's a Korean festival going on. But why not? People today, generation, could be mine, could be yours, could be your grandparents. Everybody deserves to have a world exposure. Traveling is a secondary thing, but if you get that exposure to know what is happening, you enjoy it. The festivals like Run of Kutch Festival is internationally covered by BBC, internationally covered by them. Why? Because they show what is happening in our country. We are more interested with our very unhealthy obsession with America. This is a very major fact. If you'll find, Indian media has a very unhealthy obsession with what is happening with the United States of America and how is Russia fighting with it. And now it's Korea and China. But what about countries like South Africa? What about countries like maybe small cities like Hawaii? Why are they not covered? Why is every news supposed to be controversial? Why can't it be good? Why there are so many incidences that happen there? Could be incidences of peace, could be incidences of tranquility. But it is always about who carried out the farmers' rally in Canada and not who actually sat down and supporting and say it is fine. What the government is doing is good. So when it comes to that, we lack it because we do not have people who are able to witness what is happening. And this is something that needs to change, that should change. All the students, could be you people, could be your peers, could be your seniors, could be your juniors. When they think of journalism, they shouldn't think of themselves standing in the middle of it and just holding the mic and speaking what comes to their mind, but probably rethinking, chewing their words, and even given a little bit of time to edit and say, because what you say today is going to have a very big impact on who is watching you. Probably for a very simple Indian middle household, you could be the topic of discussion for next 5 days over the dinner, and how that is going to make and break the country, because there'll be children sitting and they will be affected by what they hear. They will hear what their parents are saying. Oh, this country is so unstable. Oh, it's a very versatile state of country. It's not a very tolerant state of country. But it is not so. And if it is so, why is it not backed by research? Journals are meant to be researched. You are supposed to research what is happening. If you are telling that yahan ki 5 sadkein tooti hui hain, if the UP government has not made these, so there must have been at least 20 they have made. So maybe it is a margin of error that out of 30 they were able to complete 25 and 5 they were not able to do. So if you show the people that they promised that they will do all of it and they were able to build 25 but 5 they couldn't, the people of the country get the idea that okay, it's fine. This much of margin of error even I am allowed. Even I can do this much of mistake. It's government, it is run by people like me and you. It is possible that they were able to complete 80% of their promise, but not the 5%. But what will it be focused? That either that 80% will be made 100 or that 5% will be made 50. There's no real picture. When there's no real picture, that affects the future generation, because that's the same generation that just might not even enter politics. And precisely our TRP runs on politics. That is what we earn. All the channels earn money on. All of it. A newspaper takes about 6 to 10 rupees to print, but it is sold at a much cheaper price. Where does all that money come from? That gap on per newspaper being sold at 2-3 rupees, that 3 rupees is covered by advertisement. And it is not normal advertisement of Godrej or this. It is a bigger advertisement done by big political houses, by big media houses, which back up big political parties have invested interest in them. So when the media or journalism is biased, it does not give you the right, doesn't give you the right opportunity to follow the duties that you have as an Indian citizen, how you should react to it, how you should help your country prosper. It is unfair for a citizen to see something which is not right. It is like you hiding things from your parents or your parents hiding things from you. And you say, I was not allowed to take the right decision because I didn't know what was happening. So we, as the children of this country, have the right. And they, as the people with the power, have the responsibility to show the right picture, to let us make the right decision. So that is my take on what is currently happening. And I hope the coming generation really changes that scenario and thinks in an empathetic and a logical manner of how it should be done. And we probably end up becoming, I don't know, it can be British Broadcasting Channel, but probably we might have a good channel of some sensible person writing an Indian Broadcasting Channel, which has the credibility all over the world. And is able to make a mark on themselves and say, okay, this is the real picture. It gives you the poll, it gives you the idea what is happening in the country. Might not be 100%, but at least 70% of what is going on in this big nation of ours in different rooted areas and different parts that we are not physically able to visit, but we have a closer picture into their lives and the real scenario of the country. Yeah. That's my take on it.
It's not all about TRP, gaining the TRP through political news or bringing out all the vices or the negative things in front of the people. It's all the truth to bring forth. So I truly agree with you. Thank you once again, Honorable Chairman Sir and respected Ravisha ma'am, to be here among us to enlighten our students and of course, all of us over here.
My name is Rotash Meena of class 11 Humanities. Life is about making right things and going on, said by R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan. Rishipuram Krishna Swami Iyer Narayana Swami. R.K. Narayan was born on 10th of October 1906 in Madras, British India. He was an Indian writer who creates the most famous fictional South Indian town of Malgudi. A leading author in Indian literature in English, he studied at Maharajas College in Mysore. His genre of work was fiction, mythology and non-fiction. Awarded with Padma Vibhushan, Satya Akmadi Fellowship, Benson Medal. He was also the Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, in office from 12th of May 1986 to 31st of May 1992. He was one of the 8 children, 6 sons and 2 daughters. His younger brother, Lakshman Narayan, the famous cartoonist. R.K. Narayan's father was the headmaster of a school. His grandmother, with whom he spent his most of the childhood, nicknamed him Kunjapa. His younger brother, Lakshman, said that their family used to talk in English most of the time while at home, while Narayan was at his sister's home during vacations. He fell in love with Rajam in 1933, a 15-year-old girl. By taking her father's permission, R.K. Narayan married Rajam. He has written many books like Malgudi Ki Kahaniyan, Swami and Friends, The Guide, The English Teacher, The Bachelor of Arts, The Dark Room, Malgudi Ka Adamkhor, A Tiger of Malgudi, Talkative Man, More Tales from Malgudi, The Magic of Malgudi, and so many more. His work was that one of most perfect, creative, innovative with subjects that covered the problems of that time and made a humorous outlook towards the situation. He used to write dreamy fictional stories that was loved by young children. He was admired by so many young kids and still continues to be an inspiration to many. In his final year, R.K. Narayan spent most of his time with N. Ram, the publisher of The Hindu, drinking coffee and talking about different topics till midnight. R.K. Narayan was hospitalized in May 2001. He was planning to write his next novel, a story about his grandfather, few hours before he was to be put on a ventilator. He couldn't start the novel and sadly left the earth on 13th of May 2001 in Chennai at the age of 94. He was and still a such huge inspiration for young writers and readers. His contribution and created so much depth in the literature work of India. He remains ever favorite. Thank you.
Greetings, my name is Kamran Pawar. I am a student of class 12th Humanities and let me introduce you to Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond, born on 19th May 1934 in Punjab, is an Indian author of British descent. His father, Aubrey Alexander Bond, was an officer of the Royal Air Force post in India. He studied in Bishop Cotton School in Shimla. His first novel, The Room on the Roof, received the John Rees Prize in 1957. He was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award in 1992 for A Tree Still Grow in the Dehra, his first novel in English. Bond has written hundreds of short stories, essays, novels, and books for children. He was awarded the Padma Shri in 1999 and Padma Bhushan in 2014. Some of my favorite quotes by him are: I have come to believe that the best kind of walk or journey is the one in which you have no particular destination set out. The world keeps on changing, but there is always something, somewhere that remains the same. And my most favorite quote of his is: happiness is a mysterious thing to be found somewhere between too little and too much. Thank you.
Warm regards to one and all. I, Sahil Seth from SRN International School. Today I am enacting like a very famous Shair Ali Zariun. Born in Faisalabad, Ali is multilingual poet, a lyricist and a thinker. He writes poetry in Hindi, Urdu, Farsi, Punjabi and English. This makes him a very versatile poet. He has a wide variety of ghazal and nazm which are famous in masses. Sarojini is among the favorite poet of the modern generation and has his following in millions on social media and otherwise. Ali has performed countless events in institutes, events and mushaira since 1999 in Pakistan and represented it in various countries and won awards as well as hosts. Ali Zariun has a distinctive and bold narrative in poetry through which he challenges stereotypes in society and gives a sense of realization to his readers. He promotes love, respect, and harmony and tolerance in society through his writing. He also runs a publishing initiative called Maktaba Zariun. So, lastly, I would like to conclude by saying one of his beautiful शेर. तेरी खुशियों का सबब यार कोई और है ना, दोस्ती मुझसे है और प्यार कोई और है ना, तू मेरे अश्क ना देख फ़कत इतना बता, तेरे दिल का तलबगार कोई और है ना, पिछली सफ़ों से ये उदासी हुई तुलूब, पिछली सफ़ों से ये उदासी हुई तुलूब, मेकअप की भीड़ में भी उसी पे नज़र गई, और इस तरह से ना आज़माओ मुझे, उसकी तस्वीर मत दिखाओ मुझे, और इस तरह से ना आज़माओ मुझे, उसकी तस्वीर मत दिखाओ मुझे, ऐन मुमकिन है मैं पलट आऊँ उसकी आवाज़ में बुलाओ मुझे, ऐन मुमकिन है मैं पलट आऊँ उसकी आवाज़ में बुलाओ मुझे, दोस्तों को ना आग लग जाए, अपनी डीपी पे मत लगाओ मुझे, दोस्तों को ना आग लग जाए, अपनी डीपी पे मत लगाओ मुझे, मैंने बोला था याद मत आना, झूठ बोला था याद आओ मुझे, और तुम्हारे बाद ये दुख भी तो सहना पड़ रहा है, तुम्हारे बाद ये दुख भी तो सहना पड़ रहा है, किसी के साथ मजबूरी में रहना पड़ रहा है, तुम्हारे बाद ये दुख भी तो सहना पड़ रहा है, किसी के साथ मजबूरी में रहना पड़ रहा है, मुझे बातें नहीं तेरी मोहब्बत चाहिए थी, मुझे बातें नहीं तेरी मोहब्बत चाहिए थी, मुझे अफसोस है कि ये मुझको कहना पड़ रहा है. Thank you.